What we need is local control.
Tom King.
Sometimes we expect great things.
Christian Arcan.
Things can't always work out the way we expect.
Christian and King. ESPN New Hampshire Radio. Streaming live on ESPNNewHampshire.com. Christian and King. Here's Christian Arcan and Tom King.
Well, good afternoon. Christian and King here, ESPN New Hampshire, streaming live on the ESPN radio app and ESPNNewHampshire.com. I'm Christian Arcan alongside Tom King. Hi, Tom. You all right there, pal?
It's tough to do the show standing up.
It is. Tough to do it lying down, too.
Yes.
Easy to do it sitting down, however.
Although right now I'd probably prefer lying down.
Really?
Yeah.
You had a long night, didn't you, big guy?
Yeah, it was a long night.
We all had a long night last night,
Yes.
as the Bruins and Canadians went 2 overtimes before that PK Subban.
PK Subban.
Bookending the scoring. He had the first goal and the last goal.
Of all people. And they were both just basically the same goal.
Pretty much.
You know?
You know what? Every goal in that game was the same goal, Tom.
Yeah,
I think a defenseman scored every single goal.
Shots from far away that goaltenders were screened on or didn't see or just didn't react quickly enough.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. That was the only way you could get into the net last night. And it seemed, for a game in which 7 goals were scored, it really at times just seemed like a 1-1 in the third period, especially after they tied it up. I mean, it seemed like, okay, this is going to be a struggle. And I'll tell you what, both goaltenders made some amazing saves towards the end in the third period and in overtime. But when it all came down to it, Carey Price was better. I think that's really the long and short of it. I think he was better last night, and he had a lot of lucky breaks. The puck I've never seen the puck kiss the goal line like that. Many times. Twice.
I know.
Twice. One time it just rolled right on by.
Yep.
And you're just sitting there watching it thinking, how could that not go in? And then it happened again. It was just, it was brutal. It was enough to drive you absolutely nuts. And I think it did drive a lot of people nuts because I was downtown after that game and people got out and were just shell-shocked. I mean, you were up there. You were up with the, with the Blue Bloods up on the 9th floor there, so it was a little different. But I saw the people coming out. I saw the people coming out of the Garden, and the people coming out of the Garden looked like they had just seen a ghost. I mean, it was that kind of game. It really was.
No, I think everybody thought when they rallied to tie 2-2 that they were going to win the game. I did. I thought for sure that they had enough momentum.
Yeah.
They were, because let's face it, they put 51 shots on net.
Mm-hmm.
You put 51 shots on net, the law of averages is going to tell you you're going to win the game. And,
right.
And it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the shock is from.
Right.
2
goals were scored by forwards last night.
Yeah.
Renee Bork and Riley Smith. Everything else, defensemen. PK Subban, Torrey Krug, Johnny Boychuk, Francis Bouillon, and then Subban again.
Bouillon, I love.
Bouillon.
Francis.
They call him Frank, but he's always just be Francis to me. Listen, I didn't want to have to do this, but after the game, it was over, and when the Bruins lose, I try and think of the 3 reasons why they lost. I call it the anti-3 stars. And I hadn't done it really in the first Detroit game, but last year in the playoffs we sort of did a little bit of this. They only lost 1 game in the Detroit series, which is important to remember as well. They went down 0-1 in the Detroit series, and we all saw how they bounced back from that and came back.
I was there for that too.
You were there for that as well. In fact, why don't you just stop going to the games, King? Because it's clearly you who's making them lose. It's not funny, Tom.
Well, you're probably going tomorrow.
I might be.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
I'm sure you've told everybody up there all these horrible things about it. No one's gonna want to touch. It's gonna be like Jonathan Martin when he'd sit down at the, with the Dolphins. I'll go sit down. Everybody stands up and leaves because you told them all sorts of mean things about
they'll all be
him.
at a different table.
Yeah, it's gonna be awful. I'm gonna get bullied and all that stuff.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
What they gave us last night.
What'd they give you last night?
Let me tell you this.
Let's hear it.
All right. You know how you go to a brunch, a big brunch?
How you have to go to a brunch?
No, how you go to a big brunch. And there's an omelet station.
Yeah.
And they have all the stuff laid out there. You want this in it, you want that in it, that in it, and the chef in it. Last night they had, and I've never seen this before, a mac and cheese station.
They had the mac on one side and the cheese on the other?
Pretty much.
Really?
A mac and cheese station with a bowl of crab meat.
Oh.
A bowl of lobster.
Oh.
A bowl of bacon.
Oh, boy.
A bowl of all sorts of other stuff.
Excuse me.
And basically, basically, he's got the little pan, and he throws the cheese on there, and he throws the macaroni on there, and he sizzles it a little bit, and then he goes, okay, what do you want on it? And then you tell him, and then he just puts it on there, and then he puts that, mixes
He just
it
sort
in.
of whips it around.
And whips it around. And
now, you said lobster, crab, bacon, and what? And what else?
They had pepper, they had onion, they had...
They have, do they have buffalo chicken?
No, they did not have
They
that.
didn't have,
No,
okay,
they
well,
didn't have
that's
that.
all right.
No,
I
they
mean,
didn't have
that means there's room to improve.
I think the lobster and the crab kind of...
Lobster and crab mac and cheese, my God.
Yeah, huh? How about that?
You know, it's funny. You go to a restaurant.
Yeah,
You go
yeah.
to
No,
you always
you
think.
see this.
No, I mean that's
no.
geez.
This was,
and they make it right there.
and he makes it right in front of you.
Well, I bet you it wasn't as good as Vince's lobster mac and cheese over at Quiznos.
Probably not. But we never see Vince make it. So,
That's true.
You know,
Right.
I think we gotta have Vince come here and make it. We gotta have our own little.
That's
lobster.
a fine
We
idea.
have own little lobster mac. And
Little
cheese
lobster
in the corner.
station right
oh,
here.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Right.
it was just it was unbelievable. I was just stunned. I was like, what is this?
They're gonna
What
have
are
that
they
tomorrow.
doing? I doubt it. But who
You
knows?
doubt it?
Yeah. They didn't have it the last time I was there.
But they had it yesterday.
They had it yesterday. Yeah. I mean,
So why wouldn't they have it tomorrow?
Because they vary it up. Plus, it's a 12:30 game. It's not. It's a lunchtime game, not a dinner time game.
Fine, but I can have crab mac and cheese for lunch, no problem. That is certainly not a. I'm turning into you. My God,
That's true. See, look at this.
I'm
See?
like, there's this game tomorrow, and the only thing I'm talking about is the food.
See, look at this. See?
What is this?
See?
This is awful.
Oh yeah. Yep.
This is like a weird experiment,
This is it.
and I can't get away
I
from
told
it.
you this was gonna happen.
You're right.
I told you.
Ugh. We got a great show for you today.
Yeah, we do.
Danny Picard jumping on at 1:30.
Yeah.
We will speak with him about Game 1 and look ahead to Game 2. Also, we have a brand new Christians Believe It or Not, which we will play
we
at
do.
2:30. Yes, we do. And it's all about the Montreal Canadiens.
I
So,
have Mutt and Jeff in here too, or
well, I mean, that's entirely up to you, Tom King, because I'll tell you what. 0 for 9 is bad, but it's not as bad as 0 for 12. And, I mean, I can't even imagine that there is a possibility that you guys could all be unanimous in your answer today, regardless.
Well, I think that.
But you know what? You surprised me 2 other times.
Well,
so
I
don't
think
know.
that they'll probably veer away from me. You know, just on.
I would have thought
principles.
that last time.
Yeah, I know.
You
Well,
know,
it's,
I would have
that's-
thought that before it got to 9.
That's true.
But today, and see, I sort of get why you do that, because you all want to get it right together and say, we beat you, Christian, to eat it, that sort of
Sure.
thing. I get that, but then you
Well,
also
look,
leave the possibility that you go 0 for 12,
that-
and
well,
then
no, but that's up-
I will never shut up about
That's
it.
up to them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I make my own pick.
True,
You know, and I pick first because I'm the main contestant here,
right?
and it's just basically they're the junior varsity, all right.
Pretty much.
So what they want to do is up to them. I can't. So no, I can't. Yeah, I can't take responsibility for
All right, fair enough. Well, we'll have that for you at 2:30. Danny Picard jumping on at 1:30. We have notes from the Kingdom segment coming up at 12:45. And your calls at 603-883-9900. Let's open the phone lines up right now, 883-9900. Text in 50352. Were you at the game last night? Were you watching it? Where were you watching it? What did you think? I'll say this. I have never seen a team as good as the Bruins come back twice like that, manage to tie up the game, keep things competitive, pepper Carey Price with shots, 50 shots on goal last night.
Oh,
Holy
they
moly.
did, 51.
And yet they still,
Lost
with the
again.
chances in the open nets, and they
That's
should have won that game 8-3,
Right,
to be
they
honest
should-
with
right,
you.
exactly.
They should have blown them out last night.
And that gives you a good feeling going into game 2.
Does it?
Yeah, I think so. For one, Montreal's not used to playing matinees.
True.
Because of that hockey night in Canada.
Right.
So they're not used to playing matinees. And 2, I think their goal was, come in here and get a split. And it may be a little bit of a letdown. I don't know. Michel Therrien talked after the game about, they showed that they were off 10 days.
Right.
And then he said, we got a few things to correct and we'll do that. So that makes you wonder whether, maybe they can be better than they were the other night. Which, they were competitive, but they never had a sustained forecheck going except for that one instance after the Bruins tied it up and then Montreal went ahead. That third goal, Bouillon's goal, was the one that gave them a sustained. It was really only the sustained forecheck that I saw them have. So, they were, and that was only for about a minute and a half. So, the Bruins were more physical. The Bruins were pushing them around. Got the Bruins in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
They called those 2 penalties on Barkowski. And they were penalties.
First one you had to call. Second one, I don't think you had to call.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
I think so.
Messing around in front of the net like that?
Barkowski admitted. He said, I had no other play to make except to knock him down.
Sure.
You know?
But I'm not necessarily sure that needed a whistle. The first one, the knee-to-knee hit,
You know why he got
gotta
the
go
whistle?
there.
You know why he got the whistle? Because
Why?
it was from behind.
Mm.
If it was bumping and everything else in front of the net and they went at it and he went down, I don't think they would have called it. But when you come from behind the net and you deliberately just knock the guy down from behind, they're going to call that. You know?
Yeah.
So
I'll say this: I expected Montreal to be a lot worse with that stuff. They were not that bad with it at all last night.
No, they weren't.
You know, and it showed. I mean, it really did. I think the power plays were Montreal had 3, Boston had 2. You know, and 2 of Montreal's power plays were in overtime, which is unfortunate. And maybe that's when they decided to start, going down a little bit easier, which is certainly, part of their thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that first penalty, there's nothing you can do about that. The one that went from overtime 1 into overtime 2, or no. The one that ended regulation going into the first overtime.
Okay, right.
Right? And
No,
then they killed that one off?
And did overtime one going in overtime too.
Am I misremembering this?
Yeah, it was a penalty going into overtime too.
But not into overtime 1.
Nope. They started even Steven overtime.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It was in between the first and
Yep.
second overtime.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, it was all it all got kind of blurry.
Well, that's
towards
because
the
the
end of
second penalty was called fairly soon after. So,
that. Right, and that was on Paye when he tripped Brendan Gallagher.
Yeah, no, but Barkowski got that call at the end.
Right, Barkowski got the call at the end, which led to the game winner. But the
Right.
one that went from overtime 1 into overtime 2 was against Paye.
Yep.
Yeah, and Barkowski got the hold on Dale Wise, who was the only guy really. I mean, he was the only guy on Montreal who seemed to be going out there trying to get penalties. He flopped around a little bit in the first period too. I think that very first penalty that got called in the first period, which was on Barkowski, I think.
It was Barkowski.
Yeah.
Barkowski didn't have a good game.
No, he didn't. He was my number 1 anti-star.
Yeah, no, he did not have a good game, and the Bruins may have a decision to make. Regarding game 2.
But then again, who do you replace him with? Potter?
Yeah, that's the other guy they got in the trade.
Oh, yeah, Mazarov.
Mazarov. So, I mean, those 2 guys are there. They're sat, but they're there. They could, one of them could come in and play. Mazarov, I think, would be the guy.
I think it should be him, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you give Barkowski one more game? Or at least let him start off, and then if he's really just can't skate out there, then you sub him in?
No, you can't sub him in because you got to make the decision. Barkowski is either going to sit, is either going to watch the game from the 9th floor, or he's going to play, one or the other. You don't just leave him, you don't have the depth to do that.
Okay.
You got to, in other words, you don't want to take up the roster spot with a player who's not going to play.
Who's not going to go in, yeah.
Right, so that's why. I mean, if he's going to be a scratch if Mazarov is going to play, just like Mazarov was a scratch because Barkowski played.
Right.
So.
But
I mean, the thing is, the Bruins are the more physical team, and they're the grittier team. Montreal tried to get the finesse game going; it really wasn't working, and that's if I'm Montreal, I'm concerned about that because there's only so much time you can hold the fort before you get run over by a team that's trying to not beat you up, but trying to basically push you around the ice.
Right.
So, that's something that the Canadians really have to be aware of. I mean, that's how the Bruins got 50 shots. And the Bruins could have had 60 shots. Because don't forget, early in the game, it was driving everybody nuts when guys would hesitate before they shot.
Yeah.
And wait. Krug did that. A couple other guys did that.
Krejci did it a lot.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
He was my number 2 anti-star.
Yeah, no, and he got beat on that breakaway. He had the puck in front and backhanded it, and Price made that stop. I thought Price was good. I didn't think Price was as great as everybody said he was, because I think Price had a few times where he had trouble finding the puck.
That's true. And there was a couple of times where he just got very lucky.
Very lucky. And there were a couple of times where he shrugged his shoulders, he couldn't see the puck.
Yeah,
because of screens or because he just didn't pick it up. And he probably wouldn't admit that, but that to me is what it looked like a lot of times.
Yeah, it looked like that to everybody. I think and Tuukka for the goals that he let in, and I'll say this: one of them, the Bork goal off the turnover, that wasn't Tuukka's fault. I mean, that was just a very, very bad turnover by, I think that was Barkowski. I think he turned that one over. Yeah, I mean,
Barkowski had a lousy game.
He had an awful game. That was the second goal. First one was that Subban goal on the power play. It was a really, really nice shot when he sort of moved into the center from his D position, and that was how the second goal, his game winner, was basically the same. The goals that Tuukka let in, The Bouillon one was the one that really got me.
Bouillon.
That Bouillon goal,
love
that
that.
really, man, that was just
Beef bouillon.
That was a backbreaker, and they did end up tying it up anyway. With
well,
Boychuk's goal,
screaming shot. Yeah.
with that amazing goal, that was great. But the Bouillon goal, that was really the main one. I thought, Tuukka, you should have had that. That was the one time I really thought, okay, you had to be better on that one goal. And he sort of said as much afterwards. He took all the blame, he always does, and he said, I have to be better than that. And I was thinking, well, what did he have to be better on? Because that Bork goal, you're not stopping. I mean, there's no way you can get mad at him for not letting that one in.
called the shot on Subban's game winner a floater from the blue line that he didn't catch.
Mm-hmm.
It looked a little harder than a floater.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly floating.
Yeah, I think he was more.
I guess technically it was floating, but it was floating extremely quickly. Let's put it that way.
Hard on himself a little bit after the game.
He's always like that.
Yeah, I know he is.
But good. It's better that than a guy passing the buck off.
Sure. Oh yeah.
That's
no
the
doubt.
worst thing in the world.
My D didn't help me or anything like that.
Yeah.
No, you never hear that from Tuukka.
Although you could make the argument that that's exactly the case.
Yeah, except the Canadians.
With certain pairs.
Yeah, except the Canadians just did not put sustained pressure on the Bruins. So Tuukka did not have to sit there and stand on his head for 60 minutes, 80 minutes. How was it when the goal scored in overtime?
The goal was scored
halfway through the
84 minutes.
84 minutes in. Yeah.
84 minutes and 17 seconds.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
That's,
so 4 minutes into the second overtime.
Right.
Yep.
And that's how it all went down.
Yep.
Also, though, Tuukka did a very good job of limiting rebounds. Very good job. I hardly ever remember there was any times when Montreal took
just
it
that
in,
one flurry,
took a shot off.
Just that one flurry where Bouillon tied it up, and the
Yeah.
puck ended up going back out to him, and he shot it.
Right, but that wasn't even really his fault. I mean,
Right.
that was, there's too many Bruins in the middle. No one was trying to get behind the net. It was just bad spacing
Right.
there, and it led to that goal. But I still think Tuukka maybe could have stopped that one. Regardless, he did a good job of limiting rebounds, which is something that the Canadians really excel on, and I think that was probably a big thing with Claude saying, hey, you know what, you do your thing. We'll get people in front of you. Just don't let any rebounds out.
Yeah.
And he didn't, but it still wasn't enough. Now, looking ahead, Tom King, is this a promising loss, if I can even say that? Or should we be taking this a little bit harder here as Bruins fans? Because, a lot of people after the game I hear saying, well, look, they did all these things right. They had all these shots. They did all these things. I hope they play like this again because they'll probably score more goals. There's no way they're going to, take 50 shots and only have 3 goals like this again. All is well. Don't worry about it. What do you think?
Well, I think if they get 50 shots again, I asked a few questions last night to the players. I said, if someone had told you before the game you had 50 shots on Price, would you have been shocked if they also told you would have lost it?
Right.
And a few of them said, yeah. Most likely, yeah. I think what the Bruins need to do in this game, in game 2, is come out and score first and put the Canadians on the defensive right away, and that would limit things a little bit. And I think that's something that get a 2-goal lead against Montreal. I don't think they're going to come back from that.
Were you surprised Montreal went up 2-0 like that?
No, it wasn't. Not that much. They're a good team. They're better than Detroit. So no, I wasn't surprised at all. I was more surprised that they shut things down a little bit and allowed the Bruins to come back and tie it. I thought the Bruins would come back within a goal and maybe lose 3-1. I didn't think that they were gonna be able to come back and tie it. I just didn't think that Montreal was going to get into such a defensive style as they did in parts of the third period. It was unbelievable. They were letting the Bruins just skate right up the ice, and it was and set things up, and Canadians were also turning the puck over a lot in their own end.
Yeah, they did.
And that was something that gave the Bruins second chances. So
yeah, I thought the Bruins forecheck actually looked great.
I did. That's how you get 50 shots. So the thing is if they do that again, they may not get 50, but they're going to probably get enough to win the game. You have to think that. So I don't see anything that would tell me that that the Bruins aren't gonna do some things to the Canadians in this series. In terms of winning games, they're gonna win 2 or 3 games in this series at the minimum.
Yeah,
they're probably gonna win the series, but everybody's up in arms because it's a loss. You're down 1-0. You don't take anything from it except the fact you're down 1-0.
Well, on the other hand,
and
if I'm in Montreal right now, I'm thinking we just took the Bruins' best punch and we won.
That could be. that could be.
How do you
Just like
argue that?
Just like that mic
Just like I
did.
just punched this mic.
Right,
that wasn't my
exactly.
best punch, but it was a punch
but it was
nonetheless.
a punch, right, exactly.
How do you argue that?
No, well, that's tough. You can't argue that. But, I mean, the Canadians are going to have to – see, hockey's a strange game. You can play great and lose.
Yeah.
You know? And
that's what happened.
And that's what happened. And the Canadians could be the team that plays great on Saturday, and they could lose.
Yeah.
So, prediction-wise, I mean, the thing is, I think this is a 7-game series. I really do. But maybe not. The Bruins recovered. I don't know.
We shall see. 603-883-9900. Your phone number, 883-9900. Text in 50352. Let's load up those phone lines. Get your thoughts on Game 1 and looking ahead to tomorrow's Game 2 at 12:30. We got sound from the Bruins. We'll play it next. Don't go anywhere. It's Christian and King.
This Memorial Day, take time to thank a veteran who has served in our military and remember those who have lost a loved one while serving our country. This reminder courtesy of Joseph Evans Construction, our area's premier commercial and industrial contracting specialist. They have been serving Nashua, Milford, and the entire surrounding areas with top-notch work for over 7.5 years. For all your commercial, custom renovations, and improvement needs, call Joseph Evans Construction at 603-424-3232. Once more, that's 603-424-3232.
Get to Peters of Nashua's huge Kia clearance sale going on now. Peters Kia must clear out their remaining 2013 Optimas and Optima hybrids, and that means huge savings for you. How much will you save? How about a whopping $5,680 off MSRP on a 2013 Optima hybrid? And that includes Kia's standard 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Find this and other offers at peterskia.com. Offer valid on stock number 13K523 with MSRP of $27,580.
Midst of all the great playoff action in the NBA and the NHL, in case you missed it, tomorrow, the 140th running of the Kentucky Derby with live coverage on NBC at 4 p.m. Eastern. California Chrome, the big favorite, will run from the fifth post. The number is 6 tonight in the NBA with a trio of Game 6s. First up, the Raptors will try to finish off the Nets in Brooklyn. The Spurs can close out the Mavs in Dallas, and the Blazers are home with a chance to wrap it up with the Rockets. Tomorrow, for the first time in the history of the NBA, there will be 3 Game 7s on the same day, which happened in the NHL on Wednesday. But tonight, another doubleheader on NBCSN. The Pens will open up with the Rangers, followed by Minnesota at Chicago. I'm Jeff Biggs, NBC Sports Radio.
The Battery, modern-day fire, powering everything from remote-control cars to the car in your garage. So when your car battery is reaching the end of the line, or you're wondering whether it is, stop by Advance Auto Parts. We'll test your old one for you, free of charge. And if you purchase a new Autocraft battery, we'll install it for free. Only if you'd like us to, of course. Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back to the garage.
Most vehicles, most locations. See store for details.
Purolator oil filters were invented in the USA. So when you change your oil with Purolator, it's as American as the word America. Actually, it's more American than the word America. America was named after an Italian guy, Amerigo Vespucci. Good thing they didn't use his last name. You'd pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of Vespucci. Purolator oil filters were invented in America 90 years ago, and we've been trusted by professionals and do-it-yourselfers ever since. Purolator. Keep it pure. Available at Advance Auto Parts, Pep Boys, Meijer, Kmart, and other retailers.
Today might be the day I drop out of school. Today could be the last day I try. My parents...
Not re-signing Gasol, letting him walk, and just stinking for another year. Well, you can't... I went to a Laker game. It was sold out. I went to a Laker game. Kobe will be back. Nash will be back. You get a draft pick that everybody's la about. You know, whoever these guys are, Joel Embiid, whoever, Kobe, next rising star. You'll sell out games next year. But if you sign up 3 years of Pau Gasol, you're just delaying the inevitable to me. The Lakers got twice the ratings of the Clippers this year. That's with Chris Paul, Doc Rivers, J.J. Redick, Jordan, Blake Griffin. Twice the ratings. Their brand can withstand it. We're not going to have, don't listen to your kooky neighbor, we're not having a zombie apocalypse here.
Hi, you've reached Zach Robinson. I can't get to the phone, but good news. Our Sprint family plan has an open spot, and Mom said I get to invite the newest member. You don't have to move in with us if you join, and you can get separate bills. So if you want to save a bunch of money, just answer these questions. How do you talk to girls? Do you go Dutch on a first date? Actually, these don't really matter because just about anyone can join a Sprint family plan. But could you do me a solid?
Starting a Sprint family plan is easy, and the more people your family adds, the more you save. For a limited time, get the revolutionary new Samsung Galaxy S5 for $0 down and a free Tab 3 when you join a family plan. With better call quality, fewer drop calls, and faster speeds on America's newest network, there's never been a better time to switch. Happy connecting from Sprint.
Offer ends 7/10/14. Maximum plan savings of $30 per line while supplies last. Taxes and surcharges excluded. $0 down plus $27.09 a month for 24 months for well-qualified buyers. Total price $649.99 with 0% APR. If you cancel service, remaining balance on phone becomes due. Tab requires 2-year agreement and data plan. Restrictions apply. See store or sprint.com.
When major sports news breaks, or when covering play-by-play, ESPN New Hampshire is the #1 place to turn, according to the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters. This is ESPN New Hampshire. ESPN New Hampshire Sports Center.
In a double overtime thriller, the Bruins could not capitalize on their chances, and they fell to the Montreal Canadiens 4-3 at the TD Garden. Game 2 is tomorrow afternoon. The puck will drop at 12:30. Facing elimination tonight in Norfolk, the Manchester Monarchs will look to keep their season alive in Game 4 tonight at 7:30. They lost back on Wednesday night to the Admirals 1-0. In high school lacrosse, this past Wednesday, the Bedford Bulldogs beat Pinkerton Academy 10-9. It is Bedford's 47th straight victory. It is the longest active winning streak in the country. Coach Matt Gerard reflected on the high school high school insiders earlier this week.
For the program, it's an incredible accomplishment. You know, the hard work of the guys that are in the program now and the hard work of the past alumni have gotten us to this point. And, you know, to think about it, 47 games is a long time.
The Bulldogs will go for number 48 tonight against Portsmouth. The Red Sox were swept in yesterday's doubleheader against the Rays. They'll start a series with the Athletics tonight at Fenway Park. You can hear the call of the game right here, starting Red Sox pregame at 6:25 on ESPN New Hampshire. And the New Hampshire Fisher Cats split their doubleheader yesterday with Trenton 1-1. I'm Tom Rowe. The Sports Center update is brought to you by Apple Therapy. For better care for less, you can find them online at appletherapy.com.
This is the sports station with granite roots. This is ESPN New Hampshire. Christian and King.
I didn't mind the way our team played tonight. Lots of chances. Sure, we fell behind 2-0, but thought we carried the play for the most part. And obviously in that first OT period, probably the only thing is we got to find a way to bury those great opportunities that we had. And that's probably where there's some regrets there in not burying those chances.
Bruins coach Claude Julien speaking there after the game. It's Christian and King here on ESPN New Hampshire. We're streaming live on the ESPN radio app. Seemed like everybody that I heard anyway, while they were down about the loss, didn't let it really get to them that much. You know, this is a team full of guys who have gone down 1-0 in a series before and come back and won several times now over the past couple of years. It's not, this isn't new to them. We're not in uncharted territory here. Neither are the Canadians either. Although as history has borne out, this Montreal Canadiens team since, the 90s, really, they haven't even made it to a Stanley Cup final. I think they've made it to one conference championship. I mean, this is a team that, while still dangerous...
They beat Gretzky and the Kings in the early 90s.
Yeah, and I think that's the last time they made it to a Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. How many other times? They're a team that, They've had a lot of changes over the years.
They have. They've had general managers in. This is Therrien's second tour of duty with them as their head coach. So
here's Tuukka Rask after the game, and audio gathered by our own Mr. Tom King.
Well, yeah, we had a lot of bounces there. It could go either way, especially in the first overtime. It just went to the wrong way, I guess, from the goal line and stuff. But I think as a team we deserved to win. But from a goalie standpoint, I think Price played a lot better than I did.
Price played a lot better than he did. That's debatable.
Is it?
He made a great save early in one of the overtimes.
Tuukka?
Snagged it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he had a couple of really, really nice ones.
Fabulous save. So I thought he did have a line, and I didn't have the recorder on. He did have a line at the end of his talk where he said, when you suck, you suck. It's the playoffs. What can I say? It's the playoffs.
Right.
So because he was asked about whether or not he could, would this bother him for the next game? That's the whole thing. Mentally, he'll be fine.
Right.
So I expect a strong. Yeah, I'm fading in and out again.
Sorry. No, this is me over here.
That's you over there.
Yeah,
That's
sorry
me
about
over
that.
here too.
No, it's
So-
because I'm poking this thing. That's why.
Well, stop poking it.
I'm trying to, Tom.
If you keep poking it, it might poke back.
No, it won't.
No,
But
You
it
sure?
might shut down the headphones, which we can't have. So yeah.
No, we can't have that. It might just shut down the entire.
You were
station.
saying
the whole station goes dark. Just because you couldn't stop poking.
It's set up funny. It's shut up, Tom.
No, I'm thinking he's going to be fine. I wouldn't worry about him.
About Tuca.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about him.
I'm not worried about
Montreal
Tuca.
gives him the most trouble.
Yeah.
They do.
0 for 9. 0-9 against the Canadians.
There you go.
TD Garden.
Yep.
He's never beat him at home
No.
on the home ice.
He will Saturday.
It's unbelievable. isn't it?
He will on Saturday.
Well, let's hope so.
Yep.
Because kind of an important game
There's
here.
two things that I'm putting money on for Saturday: is the
Mhm.
Bruins winning that game and Tomcat winning the Kentucky Derby.
And Tomcat winning the Derby.
If there's I think the horse is entered. I think I got him in there. I'm not sure.
Okay.
When's
the race?
Right after the Bruins game.
It's right after the
Well,
game?
not really. I mean, the NBC's coverage starts. That's why this game is a matinee. NBC wanted a matinee in the Eastern Time Zone so they could get a game in before as a lead into the Kentucky Derby, and they treat the Derby like it's a Super Bowl,
right?
Which means about 3 hours of pre-Derby, of pre-race coverage for the Kentucky Derby. So unless they got golf in there, I don't think they do. Though.
That's really their thing, huh? They love that.
Well, it's a once. And there he goes with the etching.
That sneeze was brought to you by Chuck's Barbershop.
I'm
Come on down.
I'm telling you, get those sneezes sponsored.
Literally the worst idea ever.
No, it's not.
It
You got
sure is.
No, it's not. You got allergy medicine and allergy ads all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Get that sneeze sponsored.
Okay.
You just got to sneeze more. That's all. We have to at least guarantee a sneeze once or twice a week.
I can't guarantee a sneeze.
So to give the client what they want.
It's a bodily reaction. I can't guarantee him a sneeze. That's absurd.
Then we have to get something to induce the sneeze.
Let's see. Riley Smith here had an interesting comment after the game. Here's Riley Smith.
It's tough. People are battling in front of the net all night, and to see the call like that at the end, it's a little bit of a blow, but there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, very good. It was the only dissenting call on that penalty that I heard.
That was the only one?
It was the only one that I heard in that locker room.
So the rest of the lock seemed pretty much like, yep, it was a penalty.
Well,
what are you
yes,
gonna do?
Bartkowski.
Or they just weren't talking.
Yeah, they just weren't talking. Bartkowski was, but Claude said it in French, as he told us.
You mean en français?
Right. And he said it in English. He said they were penalties.
Okay.
It was interesting.
Well, he's not going to say they weren't. I'll get fined.
Right. But no, but he made it a point to answer the question.
Right.
In other words, he was asked the question, "What did you think of the penalty calls?" And instead of saying,
C'était une penalty. Qu'est-ce
instead,
que tu veux de
instead
moi?
of saying,
Okay.
All right. So what he said was instead was oui oui. No, he said that he said there were penalties.
Right.
He said there were calls. He said he didn't say I'm not talking about the penalties.
Right.
He came out and said, they were calls.
This is what happened.
They were penalties.
Here's Matt Bartkowski after the game.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to comment on whether or not it was a penalty. I mean, Prush shot it in front, and I'm just trying to get position so he can't get to the puck. And I couldn't get it, so I just threw him down.
Yeah, see, now you admitted it. I couldn't get it. I couldn't get to the puck, so I threw him down.
Right.
With
but
some blows.
Not throwing someone down isn't necessarily always a penalty.
It is when you do it in front of the net like that.
When you do it in front of the net like that. And I'll say this.
From behind.
People were getting cleared out of both nets a lot. I mean, and there was 2 times where I thought Johnny Boychuk was going to kill somebody. There was one time he came across. It was actually on the Bouillon goal, and I think this was sort of the reason why it all even happened is because you had Boychuk, who I think it's Boychuk Bartkowski. That was the D pair, right?
Yeah.
It was Chara Hamilton, Boychuk Bartkowski, Krug, and Miller, and then I guess that's it, right? Yeah, so that's what you had. And it was and Boychuk was right in front of Tuukka Rask. The puck was skittered out to the side, which is my favorite Jack Edwards phrase, skittered. I don't know why I like that.
We don't get him at all in this series, do we?
No, I put in with Gary over at Nesson, and he's like, nah.
No, but we don't get. I mean, Edwards. Are they doing any of the games?
Oh, I thought you meant are we getting him on the show?
No, yeah.
No, and no to that either. I don't think.
Wow.
Yeah, no, they didn't play.
We don't have Jack this spring.
Mm-mm.
Really?
No Jack.
No Jack.
You got Jack.
We got Jack.
Jack
huh?
Squat is what you got. Yeah.
Good grief.
Unfortunately, but yeah, the puck kind of skittered away, and then you see Boychuk standing right in front of the crease, and one of those little forwards was down there. I don't remember who it was. It wasn't. I know it wasn't Pacioretty because it was a little guy, and Boychuk just comes across and just completely cleared him out of the crease, which I thought, okay, that's good. Get him out of there. But then, I was thinking about it, and it's like Montreal wasn't doing anything in front of the net the whole game. No. They got their goals off of one turnover and 3 shots from the point, basically. I mean, that's
it.
That's where it came from. So, knowing that and knowing how they like to play, if you have you got to do that going into the next game. I mean, there's a lot to sort of digest here when you look at the film and see, okay, what were they doing and how did they do it? I don't think they were expecting all the goals to come from that far out.
Well, speaking of the goal that came from that far out, was there stuff on the internet that derogatory towards Subban
after the game?
Yeah, evidently there must have been because the Bruins have issued a statement.
Yeah.
Cam Neely, quote unquote, this just came in. The racist, classless views expressed by an ignorant group of individuals following Thursday's game via digital media are in no way a reflection of anyone associated with the Bruins organization.
Okay. Here's the thing about that. Here's the thing about Twitter.
Is that what it was? It
must have been on Twitter.
It must have been, yeah, exactly.
If you go looking for racist stuff on Twitter,
you find anything you want.
You'll find it.
Yeah,
You'll find it. I mean, if you want, Google Obama, Google, on Twitter, anything. I mean, you want to find something racist about somebody, you'll find it. Okay. And that doesn't necessarily mean the Bruins fans are racist or that there's a large section of Bruins fans who hate PK Subban because he's black or any of those things. That's all ridiculous, and it's the same thing when that what's his name ended the series against Washington.
Yeah, the Washington player. Yeah, exactly.
Whose name escapes me at the moment.
When he beat Tim Thomas,
right,
streaking down the left
and then
wing.
people dug up these racist tweets, and it's like,
all
right, sorry, listen, there's racist people in the world, and they have Twitter accounts. Okay, there's nothing you can do about it. It's a freedom of speech, and it sucks.
So
it sucks that people represent you that way. But I mean,
this is the Sterling effect because the Bruins obviously. Felt
absolutely.
The Bruins obviously felt they had to say something.
PK Subban did that against the Red Wings. If he did it against the Tampa Bay Lightning, you could go on. You could find racist people in Florida and Detroit and Texas and California and Vermont and wherever you want to find them. Okay, it's BS at this point to keep doing that. You're not going to stop these people. They're going to go on Twitter and they're going to say racist things, and there's nothing really anyone can do about it.
So
if you really want to get offended, Montreal Canadiens fans and or bleep stirrers, Bruins writers or whoever it is, you can go dig them up and you can retweet them and you can make it a big deal. But that's how this becomes a big deal. That's how these people continue to do these things because they know muckrackers like them are going to retweet them, even though they have 14 followers.
But the Bruins obviously felt the need to, like I said, it's the Sterling effect. They felt the need.
Stupid.
They had to.
Shouldn't have acknowledged it.
They should have. They had. To
I think that was
statement.
stupid for Cam Neely to say anything.
Yep.
I mean, you knew after he scored the first goal, let alone the second one, there's going to be idiots out there tweeting racist things. I'm sorry, it's just it's the way that's the way of the world right now. It's the brave new world of the internet and technology and everything. That's going to happen. It sucks, and there's no real excuse for it, but that's reality. And as long as these people tweet to their 14 followers and aren't out there, causing major trouble, I feel like ignoring it's the best way to go. Most people just ignore it.
That's what I would.
Why call attention to it?
I don't know.
I just don't see the point. I don't see the point for Neely to call attention to it, and I really don't understand why journalists would actually actively search Twitter for PK Subban N-word or whatever it is and retweet every hit they find. Why do that?
Is that what happened?
I guess. I mean, what else could have happened?
I don't know. I mean,
someone had to search PK Subban.
You know me. I
don't
do Twitter. So
that's right.
So.
And I was out last night, so I wasn't right on my phone. I tweeted a couple of times, but I wasn't scanning Twitter for stuff like that. And plus, I don't follow anybody who would ever say anything like that. Most people don't. These racist people, these people who tweet these racist things, have like 10, 11, 12, 13 followers max. Okay. And that's the amount of they should have.
Right.
Okay, let them spew their propaganda to their 13 friends, and don't retweet it. Don't call attention to it.
Right.
Stop. I mean, that's why these things keep happening.
Yeah.
It's pointless. I know. Sorry. 603-883-9900, your phone number.
How you really feel.
883-9900. Texter says, now you tell me it's okay to be racist so long as it's on Twitter, signed Donald Sterling.
Oh, God.
That's not what I meant, but yes, that's kind of what I meant. 603-883-9900.
The NBA has we had Wonderful Wednesday with hockey with 3 Game 7s.
Sure.
The NBA has a 3 Game 7 day tomorrow.
I know.
That's
awesome.
That is unbelievable.
This has been a really great first round of the playoffs.
I know.
Both
Wow.
in NBA and
both leagues.
You know,
yeah, not
tremendous. Really, really been tremendous. By the way, there's 3 Game 6s tonight. Toronto, Brooklyn, San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston, Portland.
Oh my God.
3 Game 6s tonight.
Think of that.
I know.
I forgot all about those.
And then the other ones are Game 7s, and they're all tomorrow. This has been an awesome.
Wow.
This
is why we live.
It really is. All right, we're going to take a break, Bruins break here, get you some notes from the Kingdom, get you caught up on what's going on here.
It's school vacation week, so there's not
That's
a lot.
true, but there's a pretty big Bedford story that Tom Rowe just told us all about. So we'll get more on that and more on the rest of what's going on here with Notes from the Kingdom, which is next on Christian and King.
The road, Goodyear is consistently making improvements to deliver superior performance tires. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires inspires what they roll into yours. It's even the official tire of NASCAR.
Goodyear tires are chosen by those who use the world as their proving ground. So wherever the roads take you, choose Goodyear tires with superior traction and handling.
Visit Goodyear.com to find a great set of tires. Goodyear, more driven.
Fox Monday. It's power.
Oh, my God.
It's the moment everyone has been waiting for.
No way. Trigger an alarm and I'll blow your head off.
24, the series that changed the face of television, returns for an epic 12-episode event.
Why are you doing this, Jack?
I'm trying to prevent an attack on President Heller.
Kiefer Sutherland stars in 24, Live Another Day.
If an American president is assassinated on foreign soil, you're looking at a world war.
24 premieres Monday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Share fresh-picked flavors at P.F. Chang's with our new Chef Seasonal menu, featuring inventive new dishes and handcrafted cocktails, like our new Pink Cherry Cosmo. Fall in love with our lemongrass chicken spring rolls, inspired from Vietnamese street fare. Or try our Asian twist on carnitas with the sweet and spicy Chino Latino pork, wok-fired and served with vibrant pineapple salsa. Your local P.F. Chang's is the perfect place to celebrate Mom. Make your Mother's Day reservations online at pfchangs.com. See you soon.
For his birthday, I want to send my godson to a playoff game. With the 4-star rated Western Union app, I can send him money conveniently from anywhere and make sure it gets there by tip-off. WesternUnion.com is making things so simple nowadays, and right now, they've got a special promotion going on. Download the free Western Union mobile app, and if you're a new customer, you can send money for 0 fee by using the promo code 2014-2014.
One discount per transfer, no cash value, void where prohibited. This offer expires May 18th. Western Union also makes money from currency exchange.
ESPN New Hampshire and Apple Therapy have teamed up to search for the Apple Therapy Student Athlete of the Year. One lucky senior boy and one senior girl will be awarded a $2,500 scholarship at the end of the school year. To find out how your son or daughter can be nominated, log on to espnnewhampshire.com and be listening for the Apple Therapy Student Athlete of the Week right here on ESPN New Hampshire.
Ever heard that expression, moving heaven and earth? We've used it in sports, also in society. It sort of reflects the determined intention to achieve a goal, regardless of the odds. There are legendary examples of players and teams who have reached deeper in the postseason to achieve those ultimate goals. In designing and building their new light-duty truck, Ram has moved heaven and earth. Full-size pickups, as you know, are very competitive business, and battles are waged. The pursuit and the commitment of Ram has paid off with a forward-thinking, innovative, and class-leading full-size pickup that's about to bring the truck world to its proverbial knees. 2013 Ram full-size pickup, the first one to achieve 25 miles per gallon on the highway. That beats Ford, Chevy, everyone else hands down. New 305 horsepower Penn-Star V6, best in-class fuel economy, 8-speed transmission, plus the active grille shutters, the air suspension system, found only in a Ram truck. Go to ramtrucks.com, the new 25 mile per gallon Ram truck hitting showrooms now. Guts, glory, Ram.
This is ESPN New Hampshire, honored by the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters as the best station for breaking sports news and best station for live play-by-play in 2013. This is ESPN New Hampshire. Christian and King on ESPN New Hampshire, 603-883-9900.
$603-883-9900 is your phone number, 883-9900. It's Christian and King. You're listening to ESPN New Hampshire. 1250 in Manchester, 900 in Nashua, online at espnnewhampshire.com. We got the ESPN radio app up and running as well, which is free to download, by the way, if you don't have it already. and you want to take us with you when you're not in the car or not at the office, just get on your smartphone or your tablet, go to wherever it is you buy your apps from, download the ESPN Radio app, and that's it. You just tap on live radio, and we're right there.
It's perfect while you're standing there waiting for the guy to make your macaroni and cheese dish.
Perfect.
You can just listen to it while it keeps you busy.
Exactly.
It just takes a couple of minutes.
It
does take a little while.
I'd imagine.
Yep.
And then you're sitting there drooling.
Oh.
There's like a puddle under Tom King while they were making it.
That was unbelievable.
Let's get to notes from the kingdom right now.
Message for you, son.
King in the castle, king in the castle. Notes from the kingdom.
Well, I only have one because, actually I have two. Bishop Girton girls lacrosse, very good this year. They drubbed Nashua North. I did the game on ETV alone, and it was torture because the game was 8-0, 4 minutes in.
Ooh.
8-0, 4 minutes in.
Damn.
The final score, I'm trying to think of the final score. I think it was 19-3, something like that. It was.
Which game? What are you talking about?
Nashua North, Bishop Girton girls.
Girls lacrosse?
Because Girton is undefeated in Division 2.
This was yesterday?
This was Wednesday. Don't forget we didn't have a show yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
right.
Yeah.
I got yesterday's scores ready to go.
Right, you can go yesterday's scores in a minute. But before that game was played, and then at another site, that's Division 2. That's Girton is in Division 2 in girls. The Division 2 in boys. Although I don't know, I think Bedford might have moved up to 1. I'm not sure. The Bedford lacrosse team, as Tom Rowe was telling us, and as I had heard on Wednesday with their win over Pinkerton Academy, 10-9, I believe was the final score. They won 48 straight games?
47.
47, and they're going for 48.
Going for 48
Longest
tonight.
active streak in the country?
Yeah.
For lacrosse or for any site?
I think for any sport, he said.
I find that hard to believe.
They got Portsmouth tonight. Yeah, I mean,
we've had some long streaks.
There's been some long streaks,
yeah,
you think.
No, usually there's some long streaks the other way, too.
Right.
But bottom line is how they won.
Timberlane laughs in the face of that puny win streak.
They just scoff at
47, that's cute. We lost 80 million games in a row.
They scoff at it. The Oyster River softball team, they're laughing. They're rolling on the mound right now as we speak.
Right.
They won on Wednesday. They were down 2 with like 3 or 4 minutes left. Not much time. And Pinkerton could just not clear the ball. And would turn the ball over and 2 goals, but the final score, the game winner, was a play where the player was making a routine pass, and it went off the goalie's back and into the net with like a couple of seconds left. A tough loss for the Pinkerton Astros. So you got yourself a real big time trio of lacrosse teams around here that are playing really well. Bedford's there, Bishop Girton boys, of course, they're great. They're playing Lincoln, Mass, I believe, tomorrow. Or is it Lincoln, Rhode Island? I'm not sure. They're playing.
It's probably not Lincoln, Mass, unless it's Lincoln Sudbury.
Because
Lincoln, Mass doesn't have its own high school.
Oh, no. All right. So it might be Lincoln Sudbury.
Yeah, it could be.
But they're playing tomorrow in a non-league. Well, it's going to count in the standings, but it's a interstate game that has got 2 really top-rated teams going at it, and they're going to play it at Riviera University at the big field at Riviera. So that's something to.
Why was Bedford playing Pinkerton? They're in different divisions.
Because North is in Division 1, and they play Girton in Division 2. Because schools in proximity.
Girton's D1.
No, in girls lacrosse are not.
Oh, in girls?
Yeah.
Okay, but in boys,
the boys are D1.
They are.
Right, but you can cross over.
BG and Bedford are not.
You can cross over.
Okay.
Yep.
But it doesn't count towards your.
No, it does.
It
Everything
does.
counts. Yep. It all counts. Yep. Well,
that's interesting. I didn't realize they did that.
You can cross over.
Okay, yeah, because over in D2, there's 3 undefeated teams.
Yeah, I'm sure there are.
Bedford, Portsmouth, and St. Thomas Aquinas, but they're 4-0.
Right.
And Bedford 7-0. So,
yep.
There's that. Anyway.
So there you go.
All right. There's your notes from the Kingdom. Here are your scores from yesterday. Not a lot of games being played in boys baseball. We had one final. Plymouth 6-1 winners over Merrimack Valley. So let's skip over to boys lacrosse, where Exeter beat Central by a score of 20-5. BG beat South 19-2, as TK just told you. Merrimack Valley with a 15-9 win over Guilford. Pinkerton 7-3 winners over Hanover. Nashua North outslugged Concord 15-12, and Londonderry 14-5 winners over Salem. Over on the girls' side, it was Concord beating South 18-7. Laconia topped Merrimack Valley 15-4. Lebanon 15-9 winners over Pembroke. Winnicott all over Timberlane 18-1. Kearsarge 21-11 winners over Pelham. Merrimack beat Goffstown 17-8, and John Stark with a 16-4 win over Hopkinton in girls softball yesterday. Merrimack Valley 6-5 winners over Plymouth. Central beat Merrimack 6-1, and John Stark blanked Lebanon by a score of 10-0. You know what we don't ever talk about, Tom?
What?
We never talk about tennis.
I was just going to say that.
Why don't we ever talk about tennis?
That's a good question. Well,
it's a fine sport.
Yeah, it is, but a lot of teams around here aren't very good.
Is that right?
Yeah, Bishop Girton is. They've got some good teams, but even they're having a down year.
All right.
But that's probably why.
Well, you know what? I got a little extra
Manchester,
time.
not the greatest.
I'm going to give you the bleeping tennis scores
Go
right
ahead.
now. Interlakes 5-4 winners over Profile School. Sanborn beat Conant 4-2. Derryfield blanked Trinity 9-0.
That's a good school.
Derryfield's
all right. Been a good tennis team.
Bishop Brady blanked West 9-0. Kennett beat Berlin 6-3. Over on the girls' side, Berlin 9-0 winners over Kennett. I think that's the same score, isn't it? No, it wasn't. Never mind.
And here's another reason I don't talk about tennis is because it's always raining around here.
Right,
You can't play.
They haven't played hardly any matches. Profile School beat Interlakes 8-1. Moltenboro 7-2 winners over Laconia, and Bishop Brady 9-0 win over Manchester West. That was the same boys and girls. That's kind of funny. And there are your notes from the Kingdom. For games tonight, there is a packed slate of baseball, lacrosse, tennis, softball, girls lacrosse, spring volleyball, all of these things. That's all going on tonight. If you want details on all of that, check out NHIAA.org.
And don't forget, check with your school on times because of school vacation week. Some games are played earlier than normally are. So, for example, I think Bishop Girton and Nashua South played boys lacrosse yesterday morning at 10 o'clock. So,
yeah. All right. Very good. There's your notes from the Kingdom. All right. 603-883-9900 is your phone number. 883-9900. Text line up and running at 50352. Let's take a look at the text boards. If Canadians fans want to be offended, they should listen to Tom King mock French-speaking people. I suppose they could if they want to. Sorry, Christian, the worst idea in radio was to let Tom King on the air. No, that was not the worst idea.
All right.
There's been much worse than that.
I got a fan club.
Christian, isn't it sad that Major League Baseball cheated the Red Sox out of a run in the day game yesterday? Never mind, I forgot you love cheaters. All right, I wasn't planning on talking about the Red Sox because who cares? But who cares when there's a Bruins playoff game on against Montreal? Who cares? I'm sorry. I watched that day game because I needed something to do while I waited for 7:30.
They got swept yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
They lost last night.
And that night game, oh my goodness. I was just keeping an eye on it on my phone.
I didn't see it.
What a meltdown. We can get into that later on, but I certainly don't want to waste any time.
I got my own problems in the Bronx, so.
Talking about it yet. However, I do want to mention this, and I'm glad you brought this up, Texter. The MLB cheated the Sox out of a run in the day game. That was a perfect example of my problem with this whole replay process going on in Major League Baseball right now, is these ballparks don't have the right dimensions for this. They just don't. They don't have the right angles. You're not going to be able to see who's safe and who isn't. That play with Dustin Pedroia yesterday was an absolutely perfect example.
You needed to see that play from the other side of home plate.
From the other side, maybe directly down from up top.
Above,
Here's the problem. There's no roof on most of these stadiums. There's like 3 or 4 that have roofs. There's domes. But most of them, it's just open roof. They can't put cameras that look straight down. And, look at where the camera wells are. Either along the baseline or way out in the outfield. And I know that they can zoom in a lot and they do great things with technology and whatever, but I'm sorry, that's just not the same as a rectangular field with a dome over it and cameras all over the place. In football, it makes sense. In basketball, it makes sense. Hell, in hockey, it makes sense. They can look over the top, down on top of things. You can't do that in baseball. And the camera angles are all screwed up. That was a perfect example last night. Dustin Pedroia did seem to beat the throw, but they couldn't tell if he touched the plate or not because there wasn't a single good shot. So, what are we doing, slowing the game down here to just have more people look at it and say, I don't know. That's the best they could say. They couldn't overturn it yesterday.
What happens to the Red Sox?
It seems like it, doesn't it?
It's so funny. It really is.
It's unbelievable.
It always happens to them. Oh, it's great.
Maybe it's just because we're following them or whatever, and that's the reason.
No, I don't think. I think that they're just snaking.
But it seems like every single one, they're just getting boned.
Replay to them is a 4-letter word.
It really is. Yeah. I mean, it's a curse. They can't get away from it.
I just love it. It's great.
But you know what? These are problems that are bigger than just the Red Sox. I mean, this is rendering this entire process useless, I think. I don't see any use for it if you can't get a good angle on the play. I mean, what are we doing here?
My solution to every problem, macaroni and cheese stations. That's my solution to every problem.
I say bring in some more cameras. But I don't know where you even put the damn things. So there. All right, 1:30, Danny Picard from, lots of things. WEEI, he's going to be on CSN tonight. He has his own podcast. He's going to be jumping on with us at 1:30, and we'll talk Bruins with him. Your calls at 603-883-9900. Your text at 50352. It's Christian and King, 1 hour down, 2 to go.
With 6 New Hampshire locations, Apple Therapy's comprehensive orthopedic rehabilitation clinics offer convenient access to a wide variety of services. At each clinic, Apple Therapy strives to bring relief to patients by assuring the highest level of care in a comfortable environment, and they are networked to most providers and all insurance companies. Apple Therapy will maintain full and open communications between you and your physicians and therapists for your peace of mind. You can find Apple Therapy in Amherst, Bedford, Manchester, Nashua, and online at appletherapy.com. Hey folks, Tom Rowe here for the good people at Infinity of Nashua. Right now at Infinity of Nashua, they're home to one of the most unique automobiles on the planet. The 2014 Q50 all-wheel drive hybrid gets an astounding 30 miles per gallon with a powerful 360 horsepower engine that gives you the performance you demand from a luxury vehicle. The 2014 Q50 all-wheel drive hybrid is priced, get this, below $50,000. Other comparable luxury vehicles can cost you twice as much. All Infinity vehicles are backed by a 4-year, 60,000-mile warranty and a powertrain warranty for 6 years at 70,000 miles. At Infinity of Nashua, they know your time is valuable, and when it comes time to service your vehicle, Infinity of Nashua has a fleet of loaner cars for you to use, so you're not waiting around for your car to be serviced. And the service department hand washes and vacuums your vehicle after every visit. Infinity of Nashua is located on 105 DW Highway in Nashua and can also be found online at infinityofnashua.com. Once more, Infinity of Nashua is located on 105 DW Highway in Nashua and can also be found online at infinityofnashua.com.
What's the one thing keeping your business from going to the next level? Your phones, marketing, search engine marketing, customer support, reputation. How would you like to have all of those managed together with one call? Our friends at Powered, they can help you manage any one or all of these important services. We work with Power. They help manage our business so we have more time to focus on the show and you, the listener. Focus on your business and your customers, not the business services. Let Powered work for you. 844-POWERED, 844-769-3733.
Is a sports injury keeping you out of your favorite class or your student athlete on the sideline? If so, come to New Hampshire Orthopedic Center, where we keep bodies in motion. Our sports medicine team's board-certified fellowship-trained physicians can tackle any injury keeping you away from the activities you love. Trust the team the Manchester Monarchs trust. Doctors Bouvier, Gumas, Killy, Marino, Sohikian, and Velas had the expertise and experience you can depend on. Our physicians know how motivated you are to get back in action. They chose sports medicine because they love